favorite nurse one in Denver, Colorado, and I'm in Shelton, Connecticut. How am I going to make this work, right? Well, a friend of mine, Chris Riss from Bill Crestmore Automotive, is in Denver, and she was doing the same thing at the same time.
These are people. You're in the people business, even though you're in the auto repair business. You're still in the people space, and it's not a transaction. Hello, this is Brad Herlock of Garage Grit Podcast and a co-owner of AA Shop Marketing, a digital marketing company for auto repair shops across the country. And today, another Origin and Impact series with Kevin from Stellar's Garage in Connecticut. And he and I have chatted offline for, I don't know, have we logged more than 2 hours at this point? Not specifically today, but over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we've talked about everything, and constantly I'm like, this would be fun to actually bring on the podcast.
Well,
we are doing that today. Yeah. So Kevin, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. And so if you're listening, buckle up, because I don't know where this is going to go, but we'll try and chat. But let's actually start with, where you started. How did you get into this repair space to begin with?
Well,
what's your story?
So my name is Kevin Reichelt. I'm here from Stellar's Garage in Shelton, Connecticut. I've grown up here all my life, and when I was in the 7th grade, I wrote an essay of what do I want to be when I grow up, one of those things. And I wrote, I want to be a mechanic and own a Shell station. So that's pretty much what I want to do.
Hold on. This is important. What grade did you get on that paper?
I don't even remember. Probably a C. I'm not one. Listen, if we start talking about my impression of the school system, this is gonna go downhill real quick. I just had a discussion with my mother and father last night about this, and I didn't go to college. My sisters, all three of my sisters did. One of my sisters went to Smith College up in Mass, I believe it is, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But she, so I at a young age kind of I was always a gearhead. My dad's a mechanical engineer, but he's terrible with vehicles. And my grandfather, who owned a florist, it was a greenhouse. Back then it was like a farm. It started in the 1850s, and it turned into a florist. And of course, there's mechanical things around it, right? You got lawnmowers and stuff like that break. And I was always tinkering with them and fixing them. And when I graduated high school,
but not in 1850s.
No, me. There's mechanical things. And
if you're listening, Kevin's not that old. Pointing that out, so.
I'm a vampire. So the reality is, I was working on stuff as a kid. I had a mechanical mind and all. And I remember my dad, again, my dad's still employed at the same company he started. He's over 60 years there. And it's a roll shop company. But during after 7th grade, 8th grade, whatever, I was looking at high schools, and my father went to Notre Dame, and he was so excited because I'm his only son, and he wanted me to go to Notre Dame. And I did not want to. And unbeknownst to him, I took the entrance exam for Notre Dame, and I scored really high. I had a 12th grade English level coming out of Ansonia School Systems, which is unheard of. And I have no idea how I pulled that one off, but I was very relaxed taking the test because I didn't care if I got in. And then I took the test for the Votech school, and I got like a C average. So I was nervous. I kept looking at the answers, recorrecting myself, and just the normal thing that happens when you're stressed. So I go to the dean to meet the dean of Notre Dame. My father drives me there, and we're sitting there, and he's like, "What are your intentions, son?" And I'm like, "Well, to be honest, I don't really want to come here." I said, on one hand, I want to be a doctor. I want to get in the medical field. And the other hand, I want to be a mechanic. I said, but there's two types of beings. There's, you have a male and a female, and then you have new cars coming out all the time. So it's more of a challenge. And I don't want to be in school for years to come. And my father was so deflated. He didn't want to talk to me. He was so upset. He's like, oh, this guy's going to be, working as a blue collar guy. He's not, because he wanted better for me. But I loved it. I went to Emmett O'Brien Votech School in Ansonia, Connecticut. I took automotive, and I was surrounded by other people that kids I'm still friends with today. So just to say how old I am, I'm 55 this year. And, I've been doing it for a while. So during high school, I was working for a Pontiac dealership, and it was the 80s, 1988. I think it was
Yeah,
87.
based on your age, you graduate in 88.
Well, I was working there in 85. I was 15 years old.
Okay.
It was like,
Okay.
it wasn't my first job. My first real paycheck job was doing dishes, and I worked in a restaurant. And I worked in that same restaurant until in my 20s. I didn't do it for the paycheck. I did it because I love food, and I just liked the environment, and it was just fun. And I didn't care, about the job,
I've always hated smelling like food.
Oh, it's disgusting, dude.
Right. I
And
used to pick up my
and I'm
older sister from her job at like a restaurant, and she's got this long hair, and it would reek like grease for days, right? Like no matter how often she washed it, right? And so, yeah.
So this was the 80s. I was a teenager.
Right.
I had long hair. Like my hair was really curly, wet. It was down to my butt, and I just I smoked a lot of cigarettes, and that was that was a thing. But here I am in a restaurant, and I was a dishwasher, so I'm covered in just that grease that's in. And again, so you're a teenager, I'm breaking out all over the place with pimples and whatnot. And it was fun, beautiful time of my life. I love it. I miss the hair, that's for sure. I don't miss the cigarettes or the grease. But so here I am working at this dealership, and they're like, they're since the 60s they've been in there, and they never had to lay somebody off. They fired people, but they never had to lay them off for lack of work. Well, guess what? I got laid off, and the guy's like gives me my notice, and it's lunchtime, and he said, you need you need to find another job. I'll get you on, get your pink slip so you can collect and all that. And I came to this building that we're in now was New England Ambulance Service. And I knew the guy, Daryl Atwood, was the owner of the ambulance company. And I knew him from as a kid growing up in EMS. My father was, the head of the EMS in Ansonia for 30 something years. And I plowed his driveway. I babysat his kids, and I heard that he was hiring. I heard he was hired. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. So he needed a mechanic. And I go and interview, and I'm here for good hour and a half interviewing. They just need somebody to change light bulbs on the ambulance, do oil changes, and
basic stuff.
Yeah. And he started me off with full benefits and more money than I was making at the dealership. And he's like, I'm like, well, what time you want me here? And he goes, well, what time do you get up? And I'm like, 10. He's like, cool. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 or whatever, right? Or when do you want to start? You want to start in a couple of weeks? And, I was like, no, I'll start tomorrow, So I went back, I got my toolbox, I loaded up. And the next day I was pulling a tranny to replace a flex plate on it thing, on my back on the ground. So I got to know, Steller's Garage. They were across the street at that time, and it started there in 1950. In the meantime, I got friendly with the owner. I got friendly with the employees there. Eric Gladixon is my business partner, and he started there at like 84. Mike Schaefer is my lead tech, and he started in Steller's in 1986 or so, and I came along in 1988 or thereabouts. And I was very much business minded. I wanted to start my own. So in the 80s, so from that period of time in the 80s into the 90s, I was working as a mechanic. I started buying, as a mechanic on ambulances. Daryl was really cool because he'd send me as a kid to like Indianapolis to go to emergency vehicle fleet management conferences. So I got to network with people there, and I got to learn. And I made, back then it was business cards, and I came and staple it to my Rolodex, and I'd call these people, when I had an ambulance problem, and it was awesome because I started the whole mental aspect of education and networking back then. And I was really happy that he took care of me like that, because it's a big responsibility to maintain ambulances as well as the paramedic vehicles when you're 18, 19 years old. I was responsible in my mind to help save lives of other people. And again, at that same period of time, I was a rescue lieutenant. I was cutting people out of cars, all that jazz. And I was pushed into getting into the medical side of it because I was a lieutenant. I had, they needed me more for ambulance calls as well as rescue calls, because Ansonia Civil Defense is the company that my father was running. And we were the only civil defense organization probably in the world that did EMS as well as rescue. Our fire department in the town of Ansonia put out fires in that period of time. They did no rescue of like vehicle rescue, vehicle electrification. They didn't do any confined space rescue, rope work. We did it all. And the reason is because my dad was a director when he started. He got a $3,500 annual budget, and he bought the Hearst tool to Jaws of Life, and that put them into the rescue department. The ambulance department early on was run by the local police department, and then civil defense took it over. So, anyways, it evolved, and that gave me
in '88, right? In '88, you're out there you're out there working on cars or working on the EMS vehicles, the ambulances.
Yeah.
And how many years did you do that? I want to understand the timeline here.
So from '88 until '96. So as time went on, so I was still involved, and this is how I became of who I am. Is because I was involved with volunteer EMS and helping the community out like that, and then I really liked working on the ambulance and stuff, and I was going to build my own rescue ambulance and sales and service, and I was going to start doing that. Then a company called AMR, American Medical Response, got big. They got real big. They went from tiny to buying everybody. So they came along and bought out New England Ambulance Service, and therefore I ended up working for them for a bit. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life of working at a company. It was almost like I was in prison, but I was let out at night. It was just, I felt really, really, it just was terrible. For those of you that are working for AMR, I'm sure you know what I mean. No, it was a number. I was given a credit card. You come in the morning, you swipe in and swipe out. But in the meantime, because New England Ambulance closed, Phil Kerr, who owned Stellar's Garage at the time, looked across the street and saw this 5,000 square foot building and said, you know what? A Jiffy Lube or something's going to go in there. I think I'm going to move Stellar's Garage across the street. So he renovated the building to make it more modern than from the 50s. And he moved his operation to the towing and repairs across the street. And at that time, he offered the business to Eric Liddickson, who was working there, since '84. And this is like 95, 96-ish. And I think it was around 95. Eric and Angie, Ellen and I, we went out. We used to go to a Chinese food restaurant all the time, and we went out to dinner one night. And Eric's like, and I'm now keep in mind, I'm working for American Medical Response at this time. I just got married in '95, and I hated this ambulance company. I was just looking for anything else to start getting into business. Anyways, he says, "Hey, you want to go in business with me?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't even know what it was. He didn't lay the cards on the table or not. I was like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Yeah.
And both of them, you don't even know what it is.
You want to go to Notre Dame? Maybe.
No, absolutely not.
Right? Okay. Well, I'm just saying you were looking a way out, right? I was just saying. Let's go. But all right. So
I ended up getting in business with him, and it took a little bit to form the LLC and all of that. It took way too much time than it should have. And in the end, we were able to wrap it up. It went on for months and months and months until we got a new lawyer and all that, and it was closed within 30 days. So I was then, part owner of Stellar's Garage. And, at that point, we were mechanics and we weren't business owners, and it took a little bit of time to realize that you make more money when you're working on your business, not in it. You know what I mean? So, and then at this point now.
So hold on. So at what point what was the date or the year that you,
it was like October of 1996 is when we
96
took over.
So
I was 26 years old.
Yeah. You're in your mid 20s. And so, and then how long did you operate before you realized, as a mechanic, right? As a technician, you and your business partner were just techs and not owners, right? Except it was owning you, I guess. How long did it take you to realize, okay, I need to figure out some business acumen here?
Probably after my first cycle of getting bills in the mail for the rent. So keep in mind, we bought the business on a handshake, and we paid the owner over time. And he floated the note for the business purchase. But so who in the right mind is going to give a 26-year-old a lot of money or a chance at it? And he did. We were on the hook for money. but for if we failed, so we couldn't fail. Failure's usually not an option in most people's life. So right. So we actually told our wives that we're not going to take home any money for about 6 months, and we want to make sure that they're okay because they were both working, and we're gonna eat a lot of ramen and just and drink a lot of tap water. But the first week we were taking home money. I think it was like $500 or something. I was like, you know what? Let's just try $500. Okay, so that's cool. And then we were working late at night. Typical thing all high energy, business owners do when they first take over, working crazy hours and all. And then it started getting kind of like after Eric started having children, and Angie would call me and say, just go home. Cause I would do like, I don't know, there was a machine room that we had. Well, we made a machine room. And
Angie would tell you to go home. Who's Angie?
Angie, Eric's wife, would call me at night and say, just go home. She felt bad that I was down there. I'm like, this is just, but Eric and I, we're still partners, after 29 years, almost 30 years.
Awesome.
And we also bought the property. So we started another LLC together. So not only were we partners for so long, they're like, well, let's just do it again. So we're partners again. Nice. And I don't know how he stays with me because we are yin and yang, dude. We're like a lot of polar opposite, but we're open communication, and I love him like a brother. You know what I mean?
So I hope is he involved in the day-to-day of running the business, of running the shop?
Yeah. So at this point of the game, we're trying to be absentee owners, or I should say, to have the ability to just come and go as we please and have the place run kind of like without us. We don't want to walk away. And he doesn't, he loves being in the back. He loves, working on cars. I haven't worked on cars in years. And,
but he's still actually one of the techs.
Well, not, don't get me wrong. He's not in our production line. Like it's not.
Okay.
When we run our statistics, when I enter,
he jumps in for fun.
Yeah. Or if somebody needs a hand with something, or if he wants to evaluate or whatever, and he does undercoating as well. We have a kid that does undercoating is another separate thing of our business. We do New Hampshire oil undercoating. And if you're not familiar with it and you're in the Rust Belt, look into it. Cause it will definitely save the life of your vehicle. And it's not, and I started that with fluid film, and I didn't even sell it to customers. I was kind of, some of our close people, I would just do it. You know what I mean? Pay for the material or whatever, just to help keep it's selfish because I wanted their cars to stay on the road as long as they possibly could. So we've been doing, I've worked in the ambulance industry. I went to school for those the diesel engines back. I went to Ford. I went to Navistar. I was at the Indianapolis plant when they were retooling the old 7.3 motors for the new Power Strokes. They're not new anymore, but I really like education. And my guys, though, they don't embrace it as much as I do. We were talking earlier today about, different things that are out there for shop owners to go to for education and whatnot. And there's plenty of them. And that's like what we as an industry, and me as a leader, I guess, should start doing for my guys is we could get to the point we could just close a shop and go. A couple of years ago, we started closing just for 4th of July week. And it's awesome because, for 2 years now, everybody knows the 4th of July week we're closed. And I thought I was going to lose customers. And our numbers are actually pretty good for the month of July, even with having 1 week closed. Again, it's something
That's really interesting. It's a travel week too. People are trying to hurry up and get their cars handled before.
Yeah.
But you're closed from the July 1st to the 7th.
Well, whatever the 4th lands on that week, we're closed. So if it's a Sunday, we're closed the 5th. You follow me? Like if July 4th lands on a Sunday, we're closed the 5th. If July 4th lands on a Saturday, we're closed the 3rd. So prior. So we have
1 day, not the entire week.
No, the week of. So what I'm saying is Monday through Friday, we're closed, whatever July 4th ends on that week or is in that week.
So June 30th or whatever, if that's the case, or through, July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. I think if it was actually, if 4th of July ended on a Friday or a Saturday, that would seem to me that you would lose business because people are trying to, they're not very proactive
Yeah,
thinkers.
but honestly,
And they're trying to get their cars ready before they go on this trip or whatnot.
yeah, that's tough. It's a terrible thing. I got to make appointments months in advance for my dentist. It's like, sorry.
So there was an education component, though. You didn't just wake up and do this and surprise. You actually let everyone know. And
No, we're typically 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks booked out anyways. So we have very few like tow-ins or emergencies unless it's my family, which seems to be the constant. No, the shoemaker's kids, right? Is that the way it works? So no, so what I'm kind of like moving towards is like, or segue to is we're trying to build. We, Stellar's Garage, me and Eric, are trying to build a shop culture, and I'm seeing a lot of other shops doing that, building a better, more positive culture, a area of people want to be at. Both my employees, the delivery drivers, my customers. I just gave a guy a ride today, his first time customer here. And I said, dude, how did you find out about us? He said, oh, I just put in car repair, Honda, Shelton, and you guys came up first. And he goes, I checked out your reviews and they're awesome. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. Then I started telling him like what we do in our shop for our employees and how we try our best to be, to make everybody happy and, not miserable like I was working at the other location. And a lot of it has to do with the people that I've worked for and I didn't want to be, and like I said, when I was working at the restaurant, I did it for fun. I wasn't there for the money. And I'm not saying I want people to come here and work for fun and not get paid. It was just, it was a fun environment to be in and I liked it. So I stayed there.
In my opinion, happy employees work better.
Yeah.
In my opinion, happy employees produce more of quality and quantity. So I'm on board.
Yeah, we're decent to people. For a while, I haven't done this, and I need to restock it. But like our parts guys, we had like a little area, and this was not my idea. This was friends of mine that did this. Other shop owners, you put out like a food thing, like chips, candy bars, water, whatever. So the guys are running around, especially in the summertime. We give waters out. I stock cases of water, and all year long I give it out to parts drivers, UPS people, Amazon, anybody. And now they have DoorDash delivering parts. I don't know if you know that, but it's a thing. They're running around, and so, but we want to treat people, like they treat us, and like we'd want to be treated, I guess, but we're in the towing industry too. I have tow trucks, and for those of you listening, where I'm going with this is people are miserable when they're towed. And there's a reason that pretty much all of us support our Second Amendment rights and carry here in Stellar's Garage in the state of Connecticut.
So hold on though. You just said that you're 2 weeks out. You rarely have emergency work, but you also have a towing company. Mm-hmm. Are you not towing them back to your shop?
No, we tow for our customer base and also the police. So I don't tow for other companies. We're not AAA. We have pretty much one tow truck. I have three, but I have an old International wrecker that we use for recovery and moving like mason dumps and things like that, medium duty. And we have a 23 or 22 5500 Dodge Ram flatbed 4-wheel drive. And but we tow for the police, and nobody's ever happy when they're towed. Listen, even if you broke down, you're not happy. But we get people that are irate because, we're contracted out by the police to go tow their vehicle. So that's not a fun side of the business. But we used to have an automotive accessory store, and now everybody's buying on Amazon, things like that. And it was pretty much just so we could occupy a building. We had this accessory store, and that was fun. That was real fun because I think I talked to you about this, how people are driving around, they buy a kayak, right? They're at a tag sale and they're like, oh, look, there's kayaks, and they stuff them in the car, and they're driving. They're like, oh, I got to get a rack for this, right? And we used to sell Thule products, and they're very close to us. They're manufactured in Seymour, Connecticut, about 8 miles from here. So we were selling Thule products, right? People come in and driving around like doo. They're thinking, oh, I'm going to take my kid out, my girlfriend, whatever, right? We're going to have a good time kayaking. And they come see me and it's like, hey, how much for that automated rack setup that goes on your roof that makes it easier to put? It's like $1,500. Oh yeah, do it. I'll wait. Like, okay, they're cool. And then the same customer driving on the road and their brakes are squealing and they're like, how much for brakes? Like, not $350. What are you out of your mind? Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm not spending that kind of money. It's like, dude, like, because, and it's the same like analogy when people are being towed. It's like, now it just goes another level of hatred. It's like, you towed my car. You shouldn't have towed my car. Well, it's unregistered, uninsured, whatever. So there's different facets of the business that are fun. And and I'm at the point now, like, I really like to interact with customers. I like to network with shop owners, other shop owners. Like, I'm in a top 20 group that we speak once a week via Zoom. We have our meeting, and then twice a year we go and visit each other's shops, or we go pick a shop, and then we, almost a year in advance. And then they host the shop, and we go there, and we check it out, huh?
You break it down. You analyze what's going on. You tell them what's where they can improve. And when's the last time they came to you?
They don't. I haven't yet. No, I seriously haven't yet. And I was on this top 20. It's like, what is there in Connecticut, dude? Like, what do you? I'm gonna go show them the wiffle ball factory up the road. It's like, oh, look at that! It's a machine that puts out little plastic balls. That's really impressive.
I think you should bring them up in February and see if they can get to over to New Hampshire for some a ski, ski town.
Honestly, it's all food with me, dude. I would take them to New Haven and get the best pizza they've ever had. So,
okay, all right. Well, so
I'm hoping that the Jersey people listen to this too, so they could. Oh, they don't know, that guy doesn't know good pizza, and then people from New York. That guy doesn't know good pizza.
Yeah, that happens, I'm sure. So no, okay. So a couple different things there that I kind of want to circle back to. So you're in the 20 group. You've analyzed these shops. Like, I would think that you better have iron skin for that analysis of as they just kind of rip it apart.
Well, we really don't.
Blind spots and
so. I was on this top 20 group years ago when it kind of started, and that's back. Okay. I don't even know what it was pre-Zoom, dude. I don't even know what platform we were using. Maybe Skype. I don't even know. AOL. AOL, yeah, AOL dial up.
AIM, yes.
AIM. I was using AIM. That's what it was. Listen, I got to put this out there for. Brad and I tried to record this the other day and we couldn't because I was using Windows 7. So I had to go run to Best Buy and step up to a new computer and step out of the 90s. So thank you.
I would have felt bad if you would have done that just for the podcast. But I mean, like I said before, your operating system was 3 economic downturns ago, right?
Listen, it still works.
You get above 50. You don't measure in years. You measure in economic downturns. And so
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. When we get done here, I'm going to go trade in my flip phone for one that actually connects to the internet.
All right, good.
What were we just talking about before I totally?
When you want to start if you want to start like a campfire or anything like that, they actually have like lighters as opposed to matches.
Friction. Fire by friction is the only way to go.
Okay.
So we were talking about the top 20 group. So years ago, I was part of it, and I didn't care for the structure, and it had a falling out, and they revamped it. So it's much more structured now. When I got back into it, I went to a place in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm thinking that's where it was. But I got really pissed off because it was the first one I've been to in a number of years, and they like cornered the service riders and kind of started attacking them, and it was rude. And I called the people out and told them not to do that. And then we had a meeting afterwards, and I said, if you guys ever came to my shop, my service riders would not react the way they did. They would be more defensive instead of offensive, because it was really, so we now as a group, we don't do that. Like we're all for each other. We listen, to the employees. We kind of go there a day ahead of time, or I shouldn't say day. We go there like a day during work, and we just observe. Right. And it's more of a caring factor than tearing somebody apart. And then we sit down, we go over that business's numbers, and then we kind of figure out without the employees being there, right? And it's just shop owners. And then we go over that and see what help that person needs, like maybe it's marketing, maybe it's equipment purchase, or most times it comes down to, hiring of employees is a problem, finding good employees, structure, having the right structure in place and running it well. Right. And then, it hasn't been the several I've been to since then. That was a lesson learned. I kind of lost my shit with the company and with everybody in the top 20 group. Cause once we had a whole group Zoom meeting with everybody in the top 20 group, I said, that's never going to happen again. And if it happens at my place, I'm throwing you all out because you don't treat people like that. It's just like, they felt like it was an attack, and it was what it is. But, so the group is not like that. It was just a one-off, and it was the first time I was back to it, and I was like, this is not good. So I haven't had it at my shop because, I don't know why. There's really, we go to places that the last one was out in California, and they went to I couldn't make it. It was a couple weeks ago, and they went to 4 different shops, and they tipped the one shop hosted it, but because there's shops out there that were in the top 20 group that were close, 2 hours close by, everybody kind of went and saw their shop. My shop's nothing spectacular. It's a building that was built in the 50s. I have, there's a guy I really envy, Zeb Beard from Strokers Diesel in Arkansas, I believe it is. He has a 67,000 square foot building. So I see people like that. I'm like, shit, they're not coming to my place. You know what I mean? So, and another guy, just another friend of mine, he put millions of dollars. His place is massive, and it's like the Taj garage. You know what I mean? It's it's beautiful,
beautiful facade, right? Probably a luxurious waiting area,
yeah.
right?
A
gentrified type of experience.
Yeah. So I'm embarrassed. I don't want people coming to my house. I'll go. Yeah.
Your house. Your house or your garage? Yeah, same thing. All right. So, no, seriously, now I'm curious. I did go up and down Street View for your location. I did look at your building. I can confirm it was built in 1950s. And is there a waiting area?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is
next door, or is it?
No, it's in the same building. So okay. 1/3. So we have a 5,000 square foot building, right? And 1/3 of it is office, and not even 1/3, 1/4, I would say. 1/4 is 1/4 is because the shop is 3,000 square foot, say. There's 3 garage doors, but you come in the center door, there's a lift, there's 3 lifts to the right and 3 lifts to the left. All right. But in the front of the building, there's an entrance door, and there's the waiting room, and then you have a counter, and you have the service area, and you have a hallway with bathrooms and break room all the way at the end of the hallway and whatnot. And then, but as you come in, the waiting room is, I don't know, say 12 by 20. I don't know, maybe 12 by 14. I don't know, but we have 1, 2, 6 seats, and my industry, this is a big industry,
and they're chairs. It's not like couches or anything. It's not like you're not bringing them into your office there with the beautiful leather couch behind you.
No. So speaking of the whole Windows 95, Windows 7 version, I just redid that. So the chairs are so bad, and I'm looking at them, there's things that shop owners we really, well, as everybody, as individuals, we need to do is take a step back and look at things that are around you, and then realize from a new set of eyes, you got to fix that. You know what I mean?
Well, and I feel like that's the purpose of the 20 groups.
That's exactly what we do. Okay. Yeah. So, but I walk in my shop. I'm like, you know what? These chairs are absolutely junk. So I found, I'm cheap. I don't want to spend a ton of money. I found some 4 nice, dentist office chairs, whatever, doctor, waiting room chairs on Facebook. And I went and got them, and I liked the material. And so I have this stupid, because I'm talking about, so we have this piece of furniture that was literally manufactured in 85, and I didn't want to get rid of it because it's 2 seats side by side, but with a table in the center. So it's like a couch, but with a table in the center.
Okay.
and it
That's
got
the kind of furniture that was built back then.
yeah, and it's like it's metal, right? Yeah, it's typical like it's Art Deco. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, let's go to Stellar's and check out this classic piece of furniture. So I ended up sending it out. I sent it out, I had it reupholstered, and it's really nice. And customers always gravitate to those stupid chairs rather than the other ones. But the big argument in the industry is you don't want waiters. Waiters suck, but I have about 15 new customers a week, and most of them are just feeling us out. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, let's go check out this guy for an oil change. Like everybody needs an oil change. So they come in, and of course you got to back up your oil change with digital vehicle inspections, and and you collect all their data, and you get their email address and their text message and their numbers and stuff, and they open up on their flip phone and look at So the DVIs are really important because we send them pictures of their car, and now to become a member of of our organization, kind of, you know what I mean? Like if they don't want to come back to us, they don't come back to us, but at least they see the process that we have. So I agree with the people that say you shouldn't have any waiters, and I agree with the people that say you should have waiters, because it's kind of it works well for us, put it that way. But we also do New Hampshire oil undercoating, and that's done in another facility across the street. And we have people. This is a very busy time of year because everybody's thinking snow's coming, so they want their stuff undercoated. And they wait there rather than we have a whole waiting area up there, where we do the stuff, but they just feel more comfortable hanging out at the shop. So,
wait, I'm sorry. They can wait there, but they wait at the shop instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so we're talking about the waiting, versus no waiting. I can see the advantage of minimizing or managing at least your waiters, but I also can see the advantage of really making it a comfortable environment.
Yeah, it's not. And again, that's just so the building we were talking about how this was gone through in the 90s, right? And this is a good point to bring up too. So every year, this is a good time. So this is it's November 5th currently, and the beginning of November,
and this will not be published on November 5th.
Correct.
We're talking on November 5th.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
We're going back in time.
Yes.
This is so come back a month ago with me. Oh Jesus, I have no idea where it was going.
We're talking about the 90s deco, the
oh yeah. So this is very important. I said this is very important, and they're like, what's important? I don't know. What today's date is important. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So what's important is what I do to my employees, myself, and I just handed out this morning. I just handed out. Here, I'll read it. Please take the time needed and think about your personal goals for 2026. They should be something you want to achieve, have, or do. Please write a list that you can share, or that you care to share. Write shop goals for 2026. It could be a piece of equipment, a shop tool needed, ideas that help the individual, group, or customers and part suppliers. The idea is that we set a path to better ourselves and to better the shop or our group. And here's one definition of goals. A goal is an objective or a target that someone is trying to reach or achieve. And it goes on with more of a definition. I say, if we know the goals, we can work together to attain them. Thanks, guys. So I've been doing this for years. I used to do it in December, and now I do it in November in case it's a piece of equipment. It's not the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we guys want to replace a lift or something. I could get it. I could write it off for that year. Typically prices go up on January 1. But one of the things was like clean the shop. So I had somebody come in a year ago and give me a quote to paint the inside shop, right? I got quoted. Well, let me ask you, you've seen the shop, just picture 4 walls, 16 foot high, say 14 foot high, one's 50 foot or 75 foot, and one's 50 foot. So you have a 50 foot, a 75 foot, and then 3 garage doors. What would the interior, just throw a number. Anything.
I really would not know commercial painting in Connecticut, but I want to say 4,500 hours. I have no idea.
Yeah, it was $22,000. So being cheap,
the cost of living is higher.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hire somebody from New York.
Well, the
might be moving.
The reality is, I went back to the guys and I was like, listen, this is going to cost the shop $20,000. You want to come in on a Saturday drink some beers, we'll paint a little bit, and we'll split the money up between you guys, you know. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. Well, another year went by, that wasn't done. So I said, screw it. I called the guys.
That's why you pay the 20.
I called the guys, says, come and paint this place. He looked at it, he says, Kev, I'm not touching it, dude. He's like, you know, there's just too much dirt and grease. So anyways, we ended up painting the inside. We had it painted. I got another guy, and he did a really great job. 2 guys. It was like $7,800, and they banged it out in a week. So that created such a diverse, like that was a goal.
Sorry, were they citizens?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, good.
No,
cool. Okay,
yeah, no, they're Russian, like a Russian dude from and his brother-in-law, and like, yeah, they came down, they banged it out, and I have a scissor lift, so like that helped them, you know what I mean? So like, and we moved equipment and everything, but what it did was that helped kind of even fine tune our culture a little bit more, because now it's a cleaner environment. It's nicer. It's more, you know, light. It's better on the eyes. It looks professional, right? And then it turned into, oh, well, this guy needs, like, what do you want for a terminal? So I got one guy's got like a 60-inch flat screen, and I got one of those little tiny, you know, computers, and that's his terminal. And another guy wanted a smaller flat screen for his. So, you know, it started cleaning the shop up, and everybody in it, and the company morale changed, like, for the better. Like, people were, you know, happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird, but it starts with the goal. Like, if I didn't ask them, I'd never know, because people tend to not say, you know, you should really paint this place, or, you know, you should really replace this piece of equipment. And that's what I did too. I replaced the lifts were put in the 90s. I had, like, they said, listen, one of the goals was, let's get these lifts gone through and, you know, inspected and all of that. And, you know, so I called the guy out, and he came, and he's like, yeah, he's looking at $16,000 worth of repairs on 4 lifts. And I said, no, I got another guy, the guy who put the lifts in the 90s. He's up in Mass. He came down. I had one lift replaced on my guy, Mike, who's been, you know, with Stellar's forever, on his birthday. So the other thing we do is the guys get their birthday off. If it's a Monday through Friday, if it's Saturday or Sunday, they're just beat. So I don't want them here on their birthday. So he took his day off, and I scheduled a lift replacement that day. He came back. He had a brand new lift. He's like, this is awesome. And the guy's like, you really set the bar for birthday gifts now. because we closed the 4th of July week, I scheduled in the 3 other lifts to be replaced that week. So It's nice to close. Like, Eric may not go away. I may not go away. We'll be there for building maintenance or something, or, you know, it's a good time to do repairs and stuff, you know, when you're closed. And, you know, it's just easier on the guys. So we replaced all the lifts. And again, that was from the goals. You know, I had one service writer years ago. He's like, he wanted to play more golf. I didn't know he played golf. I don't play golf. I know you like golf. I'll drive the cart and I'll drink the beers, but I'm not hitting the ball because I absolutely suck at it. And I know, yeah, just realize there's things in life you got to realize that you're not good at and you just stay away from. And golf, to me, is way up there on what Kevin can't do. So I know guys that play golf, and I know guys that, you know, are part of the country club and stuff like that. So I put them together, you know what I mean? Like, hey, go do, and we sponsored golf tournaments, and, you know, not the whole tournament, but, you know, like whatever flags or whatever for the police department or whatever.
Yeah. You put a little marker at one of the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. And you pay your $100.
I honestly don't know what I do because I don't.
It's a little yard sign, basically. You're familiar with them because we just went through election season. So the little yard sign is next to the tee box where they start off.
Sponsored by Stellar's Garage.
They usually have like 3 or 4 of them for 4 different organizations or companies at every tee box, right? Because the more they sell of those, and the more that they're bringing in for that nonprofit. So
what you're telling me is people go and they rip up the Stellar sign, they throw it across the yard like they do for the election signs too.
No, so you have the kind of person who, here's what comes down. There's a handful of people who actually are also playing in that event, right? And they're probably the only ones reading those signs because they're curious who else. They're actually going through the course trying to find their sign.
Yeah, no, I do it.
And in the process, they're reading all the other signs.
Well,
so,
thanks for making me feel good about it. So you're telling me don't sponsor those guys?
No.
Sorry to the Police Athletic League or whatever. You know, I can't help them. I can't help them out anymore.
Actually,
or the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts.
Stop. What I'm saying is
stop paying those people.
Support the organizations. Support the organizations. Don't expect a customer from it. That's what I'm saying.
No, you know, there's a lot. Listen, in marketing,
you can call it for tax purposes. You can call it a marketing expense, but not really. Like it's the least effective. I don't know. Like the people of the organization, they're more likely to become your customers because you participated with them.
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah.
But the people who are playing at the golf course.
But see that, but so, being close to 30 years in here, we've done a lot over the years with marketing and supporting, people and whatnot, and groups or whatever. Like, even not, so I'm in Shelton, Connecticut. Both Eric and I live in Seymour, Connecticut, and we support the Little League in Seymour, Connecticut, because that's like our hometown. You know what I mean? And we support the Little League in Shelton, Connecticut too, but they're not as, I think they're, no, they're not as, it's a larger, Shelton's a much larger town than Seymour. And they have a lot more, like I said, wiffle balls here, Charter Firearms here, Jones's Tree Farms here. There's large, there's Cintos Towers, which is like a whole nother, area of affluence. So there's a lot more here in Shelton, but we do sponsor, I've done like the girls softball team here and the baseball team. Every year we do a clay shoot. We sponsor a clay shoot for the Boy Scouts. We both Eric and I were scouts. Eric's son is a Eagle Scout, and so we still promote scouting, and we help that out. Other stuff, I'm trying to think. Like I'm a dog guy. I have German Shepherds, and I know you have one as well. Oh, Belgian Malinois. You got the.
It's a mix. It's Malinois and Shepherd mix.
The much more aggressive and intelligent, I guess. And
so we went with we want a security mindset at dog, and then we went out and got the military dogs, right? The ones that So
the first Shepherd I had was insane. Like if I had you over my house, and this is I shit you not, I had guys like, I have a pool table and we'd be up, and employees and friends or whatever. I mean, we would be drinking, and I'd be like, I gotta go to the men's room. I'll be right back, and I'll come back, and they would be standing in an upright position against the wall, and that dog like staring right up at them, because the dog would not let that person move if I wasn't in the room. And so my dogs are not like that anymore. But anyways, speaking about dogs, like we sponsored a bench at the dog park when they put a dog park in here in Shelton, and it's like, we try and do things to give back. We sponsor some local church does dinners, and we help with that. I don't go physically do, but it's feel good stuff. It makes, if we have the means to do so, we would like to do so. You know what I mean? And it's I think more, a lot of companies, a lot of different businesses around here do that, help out with different fundraisers and whatnot. And I know there's a million other things that we do, but I don't really like talking about them.
I think those things are appropriate to do and great to do. And if you've got the means or the ability, or stretch a little bit to get the ability, but I don't know that I would consider it. I mean, again, you're going to put it in the marketing.
No,
but
yeah, I don't.
But what I'm saying is, like you're doing digital marketing. You're measuring how many phone calls you're getting off of your Google Business Profile. That's something that's a measurement, right? You're going to measure that, right? Mm-hmm. You're not measuring how many customers you got from the tee box or the bench.
No, you get like a, hey, I saw your name on my kid's shirt. Thanks for doing that. That's what you get. You know what I mean?
Right. But I do think that you're more likely to get the people who are organizing those things. They remember that you did that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because they had to fight to get that sponsorship. They had to call or reach out to you. They had to do work to get that sponsorship. And when you say yes, there's your possible customer.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm selective as to who we help out.
Well, you got like a 10-question form to see if they qualify. What's the interview process?
I ask them very loaded questions, to just get to gauge their response. You always start with politics, and then we move to religion. Yes. No, but one thing, one thing I will not do is when somebody calls me up, like this just sets me off. And you get a kid from high school or something, they call you up and they say, hey, I'm doing this fundraiser. Can you send me, Venmo me this or Zelle me that? And I was like, no. If they come down here, like we've already bought Christmas, again, this is going to be, but we've already bought Christmas wreaths from the Boy Scouts this year. and they just know to come see Kevin. It's like, yes, I'll take 5 or whatever, right? Whatever it is, and just I'll get them, and then we give them away. We family or friends or employees, whatever. But that's not marketing to me. It is marketing, but it's just helping out. So, but what I'm getting at is like business owners, people need to help other people out, just because I'm not. It's just a good thing to do. I don't consider that marketing. Did I tell you what we did during COVID?
No, not yet.
Okay, we're about to know what Kevin's talking about. So
let's go back. Let's rewind.
So this is
2000 and
currently we're recording this on November 5th, 2025, and or 2020. Currently we're recording this on November 5th, 2020. It hasn't been aired yet. So it's all about, it's like put on your time travel hat today, Brad. You're going for a ride. So come join me on this journey. So a friend of mine, David Bloom from Pioneer Truck in Long Island, which isn't far from me, but it's a very lengthy ride. He started this thing, which was brilliant. It's hashtag favorite nurse. So during COVID, during the lockdown, go back in time and remember how shitty it was that nobody could go do anything except for us essential people, which we had the highways to ourselves. Thank you very much. But the non-essential people, so the essential people. So what was this? Here's the premise. Did a minute video, put it on YouTube. Hi, this is Kevin from Stellar's Garage. We're looking for a favorite nurse. And this is my wife has a karate school, and she's like the Zellen from Top Martial Arts. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to donate $100 to a favorite nurse. I'm going to donate, and she's going to donate. So basically $200. So I'm going to donate $100 to a favorite nurse. And what we're going to do is we want the restaurant of their choice. We're going to get them a $100 gift certificate to that restaurant. And this is twofold. It's going to help the restaurant keep their lights on. And the nurse that's working her ass off, in these shitty conditions, is going to be able to enjoy $100 worth of their favorite food. So we did.
And they're going to be able to take their mask off while they're eating it, because supposedly COVID didn't spread at a restaurant.
No. Well, the restaurants, most of the restaurants weren't even open, because this was like the beginning of it, and they're setting tents. They were having tents set up and all that shit, and
right outdoor,
because COVID wasn't it didn't spread outside, if you'd notice, or inside airplanes. It didn't.
Right.
So anyways, that's one of the questions I asked the people for donations. Hey, what's your thought on COVID? No, I'm just kidding. I totally don't. So anyways. So during COVID, this is ruined a good thing.
Wearing a shirt that says "Trust the Science."
Let's go. Let's edit all this out and go back to the positive thing. So here's what we did. So we did, and it was cool. So we got a lot of response from that, and it had to be like, we were very specific. Like, you have to put their name under this video. And this original video. So if we share it on Facebook, or we share it on other platforms, it's like, you're not going to be entered. You need to share the name here. So the first week was cool, right? $200. And then the next week, people are like, hey, I want to donate $100 to that. I want you to give in my name, whatever. You don't have to say my name. Give $100 away. Within 4 weeks, we gave out $3,700 worth of gift certificates. And I'd go to the bar or restaurant or whatever, and then they'd be like, oh, that's awesome. Here, take another one and give this away from, Do Drop In, or from, whatever where I was going to. The only problem I had is that a friend of mine somebody suggested favorite nurse one in Denver, Colorado, and I'm in Shelton, Connecticut. How am I going to make this work? Right. Well, a friend of mine, Chris Riss from Bill Crestmore Automotive, is in Denver, and she was doing the same thing at the same time. So I ended up sending her, the $100, and she got the $100. I gave it $200. I said, here's $100 for the person that won, and then take this $100 and give it to somebody else in your area, another nurse in your area. But it was one of the most fun. It was very time consuming, and it was very difficult to make sure that everybody got what they wanted. And it was a fun time, though. It was a feel good, fun event.
It was very timely too. I mean, it was. It's interesting. I wonder whether or not that would still be it would not be as effective, because it's not that we don't have that time component to it, right? But I still kind of like it. Like, you could. I don't know. I still like the idea of
there's
social media contests, but you're actually submitting names.
Well, I've done
for fun, on a fun basis, for someone who actually is in the healthcare or EMT type
Yeah.
space. But
Yeah, there's a million things. Like I've done different things with it. Like, so a year or two later, and I got to get back into this, and I really appreciate you having me on this podcast, because you've like gotten my creative juices flowing again, my motivation, and just a lot of different things. I've been thinking a lot this week since we talked, about different things I've done in the past, and I dropped out. But we did $100 bouquet on Mother's Day. So it cost me like $120 because I give $20 to the delivery person. So I call a florist up, and that's another thing we do. On every Monday, I have carnations delivered to our waiting area, the front desk, and we give carnations to every woman when they leave. Have a nice day. Here's a flower if you like a flower. And it works very well, because it went viral on our local like mom's page that somebody was having a very bad day, and they kind of got their breaking point, and they were very upset, and they took a picture of their flower on their steering wheel. They said, "I just received this flower from Stellar's garage, and they've done more than they know. They've lifted my spirits of the day." So that's fun. It's an easy thing to do, and
I like that a lot.
The favorite mother.
I might have to share that with other people. I just try to get them.
Have everybody. Yeah, I'll be the new person that started the whole duck thing. It's a carnation guy, and you got to remember. And I talked to you. Or I don't know if I said this earlier, but I grew up at a florist. We were very much involved. My grandfather had a florist, and I used to deliver flowers to people as a kid. So it's important, But the flower thing, the Mother's Day thing, went over well. But you have to be specific, though. So if you're going to do something like that, you have to say, you could do it under this. They have to be within a certain delivery area. They have to be within a certain range. I mean, nowadays you could do it anywhere, but you want a picture of the person. But yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of fun things. I was going to do a grill for Father's Day. You know what I mean? Like a grill giveaway or something, but they already got a grill, and most guys got a grill. Like, oh, what is this junk?
We do. And also, right? I mean, look at this junk.
Unless it's like a new
worse yet. Okay. All right. So maybe you did slightly upgrade mine. But now thank you for giving me a chore of having to throw out this one.
Yeah.
Because now I got to pay, extra money for the to the trash pickup or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't want to promote alcoholism, but I do like, whiskey. Actually, there's a local distillery here which I could probably work with, which would be fun, or give away a charter firearm pistol.
Yeah, again, we're crossing the line here. I think that could be.
But it's things you would want. You're like, what is a guy? Well, I don't want to think of flowers. Like, give me something good. Like,
right.
This is nice.
Yeah,
44 special bulldog. Nice. Perfect.
Listen, I've got a Facebook group called the Garage Grit Podcast Facebook group, and the idea behind it, and we're still in the process of getting this thing launched, but the idea behind it is that we can continue these types of conversations inside the Garage Grit Facebook group, podcast group, right? So if you have ideas of what you could give away to guys instead of flowers, Kevin wants to hear from you in this group.
Yes, please.
Right? And we're going to brainstorm and
I mean, tool sets or something like that,
No rules. You can be crazy, you can be silly. Let's just get the conversation going there, and we'll have fun with it. Yeah. Here's a magazine for your AR-15, but you're going to have to get registered because you're in Connecticut, so that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, if it's like, just like 2-round magazine, I'm okay.
Okay.
It's like, they pin it.
Small.
They say I could have a 45-round magazine, but as long as it's pinned at 2. And it's so weird. And the laws are kind of great too, because a lot of officers, they just change. I'm going to talk guns here for a minute. They just changed the law in Connecticut that it's a concealment state. And I think they changed the law in Connecticut to make it a concealment state, just in case somebody sees your gun. Now they could come take my permit away because it was a violation of the law. But there's a lot of different. We could go on, man. We should do just a gun talk one day.
That's a different podcast. I'll agree. Let's get back to shop talk.
Yeah.
Actually,
What do you
but
got?
I kind of like the idea of trying to be creative on giveaways or just customer appreciation type things, and I think sometimes that gets underlooked. I think that just these are people. You're in the people business, even though you're in the auto repairs business. You're still in the people space, and it's not a transaction, right? In the coaching world, and in when you're working on the business instead of in the business, you're paying attention to your numbers, but these are people on the other side of those numbers, and I think it's important to remember that. So whether you're involved in organizations or whether you're giving out carnations to your female customers. But I really like that, because I often hear about the anxiety that women have when they go into a repair shop. So that's really interesting.
Did I tell you about the Valentine's Day special when because I used to just give carnations out for the month of February.
Oh, okay. And it was I do it year round.
So yeah, because it was like, we'll get green ones for St. Patrick's Day and red, white, and blue ones for 4th of July.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, we'll just get, I just tell them now. I said, just give me whatever colors you got. But I still do like red for. So anyways, we ran this paper ad, right? Like the special oil change special and all that jazz. This is years ago, right? This has got to be 20 years ago. And it was like an oil change inspection, all that written up. And then it said, and a carnation for every woman. And in parentheses, it says men upon request, right? Okay, we covered men and women if they want a carnation, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. So I'm trying to hold on.
I'm
trying to think about that wording. Are the women asking for men?
Well, that's what happened, sir. That's what happened. I had this. I happened to be at the desk, and I'm like, I hand her. I said, "Here." Like, I'm all excited. I'm like, hey, thank you for coming to Stellar's Garage. Like, here's your carnation. And the lady's like, looked at me like dead serious. Like, I don't want that. She was mad. Like, I offended her, and I felt bad. I really felt bad because I don't want to offend people, and I want to, especially women, right? I have 3 awesome sisters, my mom and my wife. I've been with her since we were kids, 16, 17 years old. And I didn't want to offend her. And she looks at me and she says, "I want the man." And I'm like, "What?" And she held the card up and she showed me, it says men upon request. I said, "Well, we have a problem." So I'm like,
Mike,
yeah,
you've been here the longest. Mike, come on.
I don't know if he was divorced yet or not. Probably not, because it would have been perfect for him. But no, it was hilarious. So like, you got to watch what you're advertising. But speaking,
run it through ChatGTP and just ask whether or not this makes sense, right? Or if you don't like ChatGTP, you could use Grok, you could use Perplexity, but run it through an AI program to make sure that
yeah, but you can't trust that.
It makes sense.
You're gonna come on. You're gonna trust Skynet to tell you what's right? Come on.
I heard that somebody. I'm sorry. Now we're about to go in a different direction. I heard somebody actually asked who they should vote for to one of the AI bots, and I'm like, really? That sounds interesting. That you would ask Skynet, as you pointed out, right? So, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going back to let's go back to the shop.
All right.
So did she laugh? Did you?
Oh no, she knew the day she got that card and she made the appointment. She knew what she was going to do. She waited to the end. And I was like, oh, awesome. That's just hilarious.
So she just good. That is funny.
So speaking, and oh God, I don't. I'm going to tell you to look into a group called Women Auto Know. Women Auto Know. Are you familiar with that? Have you ever heard of it? Like vehicle auto.
Patty.
Huh?
I'm familiar with Ask Patty, but I'm not familiar with Women Auto Know. Are you familiar with Ask Patty?
I don't know who Patty is.
Well, so Ask Patty
sounds like a nice Irish person.
No. So AskPatty.com is a website or an organization that actually certifies repair shops as women friendly.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to say her name properly, but I believe it's Audra Forden. And she's starting, she's a founder of Women Auto Know, and she's also doing Drivers Auto Know. And what it is she's starting it and it would be a complete package she'd send me Stellar's Garage to do an education night for women on their vehicles. So you can pull their vehicle in. AC Delco's done this, Napa's done it, but this is a woman that structured it, and and I think it would be fun. My wife is a gearhead. She just walked in here. She's restoring her '92 Ford Ranger. When I say restoring, I have the chassis next door. She has the engine at the engine shop. The body is like up northern Connecticut getting painted. Total restoration. She just walked in here with a brake line. Between her full-time job and she's going to go work at the karate school next door in a minute, she has brought me this brake line. So she knows cars. And the thing is, we get women, a lot of women come in and they're like, I don't know anything about a car. When they start that, I'm like, dude, not I don't say dude, but I'm saying, ma'am, I just say, you don't know how many men think they know shit and they don't, and I'd rather have you say you don't think you know, but you really do know. And a lot of women know their cars better than, like, we can't hear the noise. I don't drive it every day, and I don't think you're nuts if the noise goes away, because the problem always goes away when you take it to a mechanic. Like and we don't think you're nuts because we've experienced it,
I think it's sea level. I think the change in sea level makes the car
92 feet.
Yeah.
I'm above sea level, 92 feet.
Okay. All right. So maybe that's the magic number that makes all.
Well, there's Shelton. So Shelton has elevation to say like 500 feet. So maybe that's what it is. The noise goes away close to sea level, not at sea level, but close to it. 92 feet.
Okay.
All right.
But so women ought to know. Women ought to know. Are they nationwide as far as learning these things?
She's starting it. She's. I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and it's very cool, and it's something I want to do. Again, I don't think I'm going to gain customers from it. I just want to help people be more comfortable with their own vehicle. Like they get a flat tire. Also, talking about the industry is like, we give quotes and it's a quote, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not an exact price. Cause once we start getting into it, we don't know what's going to happen. Right. So we can't always have, but we don't typically, if we give you a quote for $1,000, it's usually $1,000. Right. But there's been times where you start to get into something, you're like, oh, this is a lot worse than we expected. We're going to stop here, reevaluate. We don't do the job and then surprise people at the end. You know what I mean? There's shops that do that. There's shops that's like, well, how did this bill go from, $900 to $1,500, and that's not good for the industry. It's not good for the customer, but it sometimes happens. So again, trying to, keep in mind with culture and trying to create better for Stellers in the community and all of that. This is something that is a step in the right direction, and the other thing is reaching out. I'm very much involved with Emmett O'Brien Regional Vocational Technical High School located in Ansonia, Connecticut, and an alumni of 1988 instead of Notre Dame. Sorry, Dad. But but I still, I'm still on a committee there. I got to go to another meeting next week. And these kids, I have to go in and tell them that they're getting into the automotive industry. You need to get your driver's license, because a lot of kids now graduate high school without a license, and you're going to go into the automotive industry. You have to drive a car. And then you should also learn standard shift. I actually bought a car from the junkyard and taught several of my employees how to drive standard because they didn't know. And like, no, this is something you have to do when you're working here, because even if just to move it in and out, but
okay. But I mean, there's not, I agree, but how many standards are still on the road?
We have a lot. Yeah. And the other problem is some of them are higher end vehicles that are standard shift. So, and like I have 2 records that I have are standard shift. So, you can't, it's kind of difficult to get a standard shift vehicle. But then again, I mean, this is the other thing I don't like about the education system, because they remove a lot of like, they don't feel there's a need to teach kids graduating from a VOTEC school about carburetors or about points ignition system, where I feel as though there is a need to have them know that knowledge, because you need to know basic engines and how they work. Like one of our first things in exploratory, they made us take apart like a Briggs and Stratton motor. They made us to totally strip it down, like take it apart, pistons out, take the rings off, put it all back together and make it run. We did somewhat take the carburetors apart, but we didn't really go crazy because there's not really that much to it, that carburetor. But it just teaches you how an engine works, how, how valves work, valve timing, what the stroke, what the 4-stroke engine is, right? And the overall, because they're limited in time and there's so much other technology that's needed, they kind of don't even talk about that anymore. So I had kids in their 20s working for me that I get a car in that we gotta, adjust the points. Like what's going on? And they never even saw. They didn't they didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? And you can't yell at them because it wasn't part of their life. But here in the world of Stellar's Garage, we do get in vehicles that have carburetors and have points ignition system and have, old technology. And, once the, zombies attack and we don't have any power because of the EMP, you got something that'll run. No, but
Okay.
it's a necessity, No, but, so again, working with the kids and trying to educate them, I was going to start, because they don't teach it, like, they don't teach other kids in high school. Like the local high schools don't teach anything automotive, you know what I mean? Like how to, what to do. Like they just call their parents and, like I just broke down, or AAA. But, there's been
So you
times,
almost do a women ought to know,
and then they,
kids ought to know.
well, she's also doing a program called Drivers Ought to Know. So it's all encompassing.
Okay.
But the women ought to know thing is really cool because I like women to succeed. I like to see them do challenging things. My wife, I mentioned the karate school. She's a grandmaster. So she achieved her black belt years ago. Then she got a 2nd degree, and then a 3rd degree, and a 4th degree, and a 5th degree, and a 6th degree. So she is one of 6 people to achieve their rank in her organization, and she's the first female to do so. And I'm extremely proud of her. It's a way of life for her. She's a mechanical engineer by trade, working for the telecommunications company. But this is her passion. And when you follow your passion, you tend to be happier in life. You know what I mean? And I see the way she affects children. And as now she's been doing it, that they're growing into teenagers and into adults, and they just succeed better than other people because they have more self-confidence. It becomes, after a personal protection thing, it just becomes a self-confidence thing. They're able to study better. They have clearer mind. They're able to focus, and martial arts is awesome. And I love the fact to see her succeed from that. And because it's her and her close friend Sue, there's 2 females that run the karate school. It's not machoism. And we've been to a bunch of MMA competitions and gatherings and things like that. And we go to this thing in Cozumel called Cos Talks. And that's a meeting of the minds. That's like a TED Talks, but in Cozumel. And I get to scuba dive. So,
Okay.
so I don't have to listen to the martial arts side of it.
But the number of women in this industry is growing.
Yeah, I know
right?
very successful female shop owners. It's awesome.
Of course. And so I keep coming across that as well. And I also come across a lot of father-daughter, where the shop is being passed in this space. There's so often where the shops are being passed to the next generation or whatnot, right? Or they're like, every shop, if they're not actually family, they feel like family, kind of a thing, right? And so, but the number of times where I come across shops whose the next generation is going to be the daughter, and it's in the process of happening. It's great. It's good. I don't know.
So
You're looking something up.
I am.
Go ahead. What'd you find?
Hold on. I got speak amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Like,
well, if I'm reading the website right for Audra, who is Women Ought to Know, she is also she's a 4th generation shop owner and a certified mechanic. So there's another case in point. And she also has driversoughttoknow.com. So back to what you were saying about it's not just the lessons for the women. We had a podcast on in January of 2025. And we talked about community involvement, community events that people were doing, and or shop owners were doing to kind of attract attention as well as to give back to the community, both. And so the one shop owner was talking about how they've tried to do an outreach like Women Ought to Know. Now, they didn't have the whole structure with it. It was just them, and they put it out on Facebook, and nobody showed up. And then we had in that same panel, another shop owner said that what they did was they had a similar setup, but they didn't just post about it on social media. They actually personally invited their female current customers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Yeah.
And by doing that, they also started to suggest that they bring a friend.
Right.
And so now so the one wasn't successful because they just, they tried to advertise it on social media, and everybody was, who is this person? How like, no one trust, right?
Yeah.
And so, but with the buddy system, it became a success, and now that other shop has done it multiple times. And so if you are going to do something like this, maybe reach out to Audra, maybe to, or think about how you're going to plan it out.
No. Well,
definitely start with your existing customer base,
100%,
and explore, giving back to them first, and then maybe explore the idea of them bringing a buddy.
I would. There's a facility next to me I would reach out to, and that's my wife's martial arts school, because they already have that built-in trust with her, and they know that she kind of like owns the garage, But there's so we were mentioning father-daughter relationships of automotive repair facilities. Oriole Automotive, ORIOLE Automotive.
I know that one.
Do you know it?
Where are they located?
Quincy, Michigan. Michigan. Danielle Gray, a friend of mine.
I've talked to her.
Did you?
I did not know that she was a friend of yours.
She's
all right, so
awesome. I love her. We've spent time at conventions together. We've been in different classes together. We text each other. She took over her dad's business, and it's overwhelming, and she just needed another shop owner to talk to before she lost her mind. And I'm one of them. And I helped. We started through the consultant group that I'm with, a women's networking night. So like once a month they do women networking. And it was funny because like they said, the woman who's in charge of it, she's like, Kevin, because we're on this owners networking meeting, and Danielle's always tries to be on it. And she's like, Kevin, I just want to let you know, the powers be said it's okay. We're going to go ahead and do this this women, networking thing. She goes, and unfortunately you can't be there. And I said, did you just like judge my gender, my identity, like what I identify as? And it got really quiet. It got really quiet. Like, oh shit, he's right. He's right. He could be in a women's networking meeting, because like that's where the world's at. I'm just screwing with you. Like, I don't want to be part of that. I was like, but it was hilarious because like the whole the whole grid of the Brady Bunch Zoom meeting just like went silent. It's like
right.
What's funny is like there's so many people that probably have no idea what I just referenced, like the Brady Bunch. What are they talking about? What is he they just ask Chat GPT or whatever. But yeah, Danielle she's an awesome woman. She does really good things with her community also, and she's doing a really good job. She's going through a lot of changes. She's new, you know what I mean? Because it's, like I said, I'm almost 30 years in here, right? And
I think I actually mentioned that I spoke to her like a year ago. It was actually 2 years ago.
When she just took over? Probably.
That's probably about right. It was late 2023.
Yeah.
So I looked at my CRM just to make sure.
Listen,
there it is.
I don't know, man. Because I'm still in the dark ages. Years fly by. So what happens when you go over that?
Did I say CRM? I have a CRM as well. You're probably, what are you using? You got a Rolodex, I think you mentioned earlier today.
Well, I got these little fires, and I got guys that like have these wet blankets. So like when their car's ready, we just get these smoke signals going, and people are looking on the horizon. They're like, "Oh, Stellar's car is all set. All right, sweet,
nice."
Go. Anyway.
Nice. All right. So, shoot. I mean, we just touched on like 16 different things, but yeah, the father-daughter thing is it seems like it's actually a growing trend.
Yeah.
But maybe it's been around and I just wasn't paying attention.
I'm trying to remember a woman's name.
Great.
Pearl City Automotive in Hawaii.
Okay.
She took it over from her dad. She's about she's about I don't want to say age. She has about as much business experience time frame as I do. How about that? Does that sound
Okay.
good?
I have not talked to Pearl.
No, but there's a lot. There's so many, and that's what's really cool about these networking groups that I'm part of. I'm on these Facebook networking groups, and they don't really know me that well, so we don't network as much as the top 20 group and owners and all that other stuff. And then I go to these conventions, and I love being in person and talking to these people. And food, you got to hang out and eat and enjoy it. Yeah, but networking is really huge to me, as well as local networking with other shop owners or I should say other business owners. And it has a weird, like, Outback Steakhouse, the owner, he mentioned me, if you guys ever, want lunches, let me know. So whatever, come up or whatever. And I texted him like, dude, how do I order online? And he's like, cause I'm texting him through my flip phone. No. Like, and what's the best way to order online? He said, you know what? He's like, I'm not at work today. He goes, I'll take care of it. And a guy sent literally $300 worth of food. I mean, he got us salads, steaks, the bloomin' onion thing. And I was like, shit. And it's nice knowing people, you know what I mean? But
Right.
now
You still haven't learned how to order online.
now how can I take care of him? He came in the first time he was ever here. He was in the waiting room sitting on the 1985 chair. And he had a Jeep that needed a battery, and it was one of those hybrids. And I said, dude, I just happened to go out and say to him, I said, this is a wicked expensive battery. Just like that. And he's like, well, I kind of need it, whatever, just take care of it. And he checks in, he goes online, checks into Stellar's garage. Here, purchasing a wicked expensive battery for my Jeep. This is going to be fun or something like that, right? And he plays around. We hit it off like right away. The guy is awesome. And again, he's another person in my flip phone that we text back and forth. No.
But it's good to network in your community, right? That's the point that you're driving home. But it's also really good to network inside the industry.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of things with that. What kind of events are you planning on attending in 2026? If we're going to go to an event, do we, where's Kevin shirts? I mean, what events do we wear? Where's Kevin shirts?
They know.
What events?
Unfortunately, everybody knows through. So I'm with Drive Shops. I'm a part of their group, and they use me as the poster child for some of their events. I don't know why. Because right, exactly. But it's like, oh God, Kevin's going to be there. But yeah. So I do those expositions, and I'm really, I want to get, again, through other Facebook groups I'm with. I'm learning more events that are out there, and I don't know what's best to go to. And like I was talking to you earlier, I don't know if I mentioned this in this podcast, but if I got to close a shop for a couple of days and take the crew, it's only an added benefit. Yeah. I mean, when I go to these events, when I go to top 20 meetings, I come back with renewed energy and a drive and a passion. Just like I mentioned to you, I'm glad we spoke this week, because you lit a fire under my ass for different things. Like, I'm really looking to upgrade what I don't have that I forget about. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you forget about it, and then you just got to do it. And it's not that big of a deal. So there's a lot. I don't know exactly which ones.
Okay.
And
so this needs to be a conversation point inside the Garage Grit group Facebook page, podcast page,
Yeah.
right? That we need to start. What are the best groups? What are the best events coming up in 2026?
Yeah, that's what we need to know.
That's what we'll do. Sorry, that's what we're gonna have to. We'll make that like a thread, and we'll just say everyone gets to post. And if you know somebody that's actually running an event, let me know, and we'll make sure that we give them a shout out inside that group. And I don't know, and we'll just have people, shop owners primarily, giving feedback on these different groups that they've attended in the past. How about that?
There it is.
We'll make a rule that they're. What's that?
No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm on this Garage Grit thing.
Well, we'll have to get you hooked
I'm
up
in.
if you're not
I'm
already.
in.
All
I'm
right,
in.
we'll make sure.
Wait, I'm gonna
It's
see.
very simple.
Let me see how active they are. I'm gonna send them a message right now.
Okay.
No.
If you get accepted, it's because I'm multitasking, right? So I mean, so let's be transparent about that. But it is a scenario where it's a private group, right? And so you do have to go Garage Grit podcast Facebook group. The actual page name I think is for repair shop owners only, if I remember correctly. And just search that up. But also you can go out to the aashopmarketing.com website and go to resources. There's a link to it from there. And so, there's plenty of places that you can, find us on it. But anyway, I think that would be a good conversation to have as you're planning out your 2026. Where do we go? Right? Where do we go? And the goal being what? Is the goal being education, or the goal being networking, or the goal or both need to be met at the same time? Like what's the hope? Why are we going to these events? Is it for the owners, or is it for the staff?
Well, I got to tell you, man, like I mentioned earlier, I was 18 and this guy's sending me to freaking all over the country. Right. And
it changed your life.
It affected my life. You know what I mean? It made me who I am. I like going to these things. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Now, what if an event is near a place where that has no good food?
Forget it.
That one. Okay, so that needs to be part of the conversation. Are there good restaurants nearby? And so let's make sure that happens.
Dude, I was like, that's what even the top 20 meetings, they find out, like, I hate New York. I absolutely hate New York City. So for those of you listening, I know you understand why. But if those of you listening that are from New York, I know you understand why, because I just hate it. There's just too much going on. So
it's not the people, but it's too much going on. And by the way, just for point of reference for those who aren't, like, he's within a half hour, 45 minute drive.
It wouldn't take me long to get there.
45 minute drive.
So we had to go to a top 20 meeting in Brooklyn, and my partner and I went. Like, we're like, we really want to go, and it took us a long time to get there, and we had so much fun, dude. Because I just got rid of that shitty attitude. I'm like, let's just. I'm here. Let's make the best of it. Don't be a bitch, And I'm like, all right. And but we went out. We ate at some really good places, and we hung around, Brooklyn, and got to know. In fact, Dave Goldsmith, he's from there, and that was his shop that we were at, and I just talked to him Sunday, and like, we got to get together. I want him to come up here. It's not that far away, but like, we made it home in no time at all. But to give you, for instance, why I hate it, my parents wanted my mom wanted me to see the train set up at the Botanical Garden, right? I think it's in the Bronx. It took 4.5 hours for us to get there that day. This was back 2013, right? And I just hated it. And I was losing my freaking mind because, and again, it's now you're there. You got to go to Arthur Avenue. You got to go to down. You got to have food, the good Italian food there, and you got cannolis on the street, and you got to enjoy it. You make a thing of it, right? And it didn't take us much to get back, but every freaking time I'm there, it's just monotony, right? So I literally just, when we went to the top 20 meeting, I was like, you know what? I just got to get over it. And then now I have a different perspective of it. But because you mentioned the food, there's so many good restaurants, but you got to go like as a couple or maybe 4 people, when you're talking about New York City. But New Haven still has the best pizza.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering if you were going to bring that back. That's good. I'm glad you did.
I circled.
And it's worth going to New Haven just for that. And then while you're there, you make sure that your car is serviced.
Have you ever been? Have you ever been to New Haven, Brad?
No.
So you got to look this up. Worcester Street Pizza, because it's like presidents would fly into Tweed New Haven Airport just to go to Pepe Pizza and then come back and fly home. But
all right. Well, I'm not quite that elevated, so I don't know.
So you're not that far away. Jump in your car.
Yeah. Well, what's the traffic like?
No,
I was thinking about that when you were talking about Brooklyn, right? Like, if I was going to go to an event like in the middle of a major metro, I would look to hire and I'm not well-to-do. Like, I don't like hiring drivers. I actually prefer to be in control, but, and I'm not a control freak. I'm a control enthusiast. That's how I like to frame it. But I don't know that I don't enjoy driving in cities.
So when I go to fly out of JFK or LaGuardia, I we take a limo or a car service, right? And last time was a nice brand new Volvo, but it's expensive, but it's worth it's a value. And the reason I say that is I don't stress the traffic. I don't, because they got to get me there. When they take care of you, and then when you fly back, typically we're going to California, so you fly back, you're on the red eye. So Eric and I were just in Vegas not too long ago. When you fly home, you're beat. You know what I mean? Last thing you want to do is find your car, find it, all the four wheels are missing, and your stereo and the battery because somebody stole your battery. So it's New York. But the reality is it's you are correct. And friends of mine who visited from Durango, Colorado, they wanted to go to the city. Like, we're here in Connecticut, we're going to the city. I'm like, good luck. They drove for, and it's just nuts. But anyways, there's people, but there's so many business. Like, again, my friend who owns a repair garage down there, it's just they grow up in that, it's just, it's different. It's different. But anyways,
I get it.
I get it. It's fun.
Well, listen, I think we should go back to and then wrap up, because you and I could tell you and I could probably chat and we need to do this over a meal sometime as opposed to just on a a video podcast. Yeah. But let's go back to the Garage Grit Facebook group and let's have, what were the two conversations? The conversation is going to be, what events are you doing in 2026? And what was the other conversation that we talked about having there? Was it shoot, now I'm going to have to listen to this episode all over again to find out what the other topic is that we're going to have.
Like we were talking about creative ideas of like marketing or giving away or doing a video, giveaway or other creative marketing, good. Like out of the box marketing ideas.
Good. So two different threads that are going to start happening on that channel. One is, what events are we attending and why, and what restaurants are nearby those events in the Garage Grit group. Garage Grit podcast group. I'm getting tired. I'm having trouble talking. And so go sign up for that. Go check that out and pay attention there. Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of this. Like I said, you and I could riff for I don't know how long, but it's fun. We'll have to have you back on maybe a panel. We're currently recording on November 5th, but this isn't going to be probably published until December, which means that the panel for documenting your processes so that you can more easily go away to these events without your shop falling apart while you're gone. It's actually happening on November 19th. We're recording it and we'll publish it the following week. Just talking about where to begin, how to actually document your processes, how to actually write down how to record. Maybe it's not write down. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's a video.
That's essential. So
we're going to talk about that on that panel. So we're going to get to all of that. And if you have thoughts on that, Kevin, we're going to have to have a follow-up conversation. All right.
Anytime.
No, never mind. No, never mind. Give me 30 seconds right now. Give me 30 seconds on your thoughts on documenting your processes for your job.
So you're building a service manual for your business. And not only is it as a plane as, or like in an airplane, you start to have problems. The pilot reaches for something, or the co-pilot, or somebody does, and they reach for the book and the manual. Like, this thing's crashing. What do I do? But writing a policy or writing a playbook, a policy and procedures and stuff for your business is so key, especially if you want to sell it. Because you already have this it's like the golden book, but also to be an absentee owner or to be able to take time off, there's less questions. There's less, of what do I need to do? And also it's fluid. So if you have other people building, we could talk about an organizational board and the different facets of your business, which is also something that should be in your playbook. But it's definitely an added value. And like I was telling Brad the other day, like I need to focus on that again and update it. Because even a policy that I just handed out to a guy today was from 2018. And it's something that has to be, readjusted.
Oh, okay. You handed it to him electronically, or was it like a type?
Actually printed
a typewriter for.
Actually,
yeah, right there you go.
Printed it.
So
I printed it,
and you did it in typewriting class in 8th grade. All right. So
in all caps.
Anyway, sorry, I had to get that last jab in there.
It's all right.
So I think you're spot on. And if you're listening to this podcast, again, this is probably going to be published in mid-December. That panel has already been published at this point. So go back and listen to that episode of documenting your processes and take a listen to it and figure out what's next for you. I'm not a coach. I'm not a part of a business coaching for auto repair shops type company. We're actually a digital marketing company, right? For aashopmarketing.com is a digital marketing company for auto repair shops. Now, our attitude is we're trying to help as many shops as possible. And then we said, hey, why don't we have a podcast and we talk about all the other topics that are around repair shops? Because if we're trying to help, we can't just help them with marketing. What good is more phone calls if you don't know how to handle them? Right? So but again, we're not coaches. So we bring on these people like Kevin and plenty of other people who have had successful shops, and they can just kind of talk about where they're coming from, and you can listen. And we're helping a lot of shops, some of whom become customers, some don't. No big deal. In the meanwhile, we're helping as many shops as possible. If you're trying to figure out how to get help for 2026 as far as your marketing goes, you can get your next step at addi.me/jumpstart. And that's addi.me/jumpstart. And that takes you to a page on the aashopmarketing.com website. And you just fill out that quick form. We'll do research. We don't hand out the same recommendation for everybody. We actually do research on each shop and each location and then say what your specific next step is, because it's not, the answer is not a generic answer. The answer is, let's look at what you've got going on first, and then we'll tell you. So that's kind of our approach, helping as many shops as possible. Kevin, thank you for being here on the Garage Grit podcast. Another successful, maybe a little lengthy, but it was fun episode. And make sure that if you didn't hear this one when it first came out, that's because you're not subscribed. Go fix that. Go hit the notification bell on the channel that you listen to, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. So thank you again. And until next time.